you very much. We're very fortunate here on the flip side. We've had a lot of really awesome guests, and tonight is no different, but it is a little bit special to me. I had a chance to sit down with a man that 60 Minutes called a modern Renaissance man, and he's a very good friend of mine, and I love this man dearly. I got a chance to sit down with him in Los Angeles recently, and we spoke for a while. Check out my interview with my good friend, Sam Simon. Yeah. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the Flip Side.
I'm thrilled to be a Flipsider.
We've known each other for a while now.
Yeah. You've been to my house.
I have been to your house. You're a fascinating
cat. In show business, people call each other friends, and well, frankly, they're actually enemies.
How did you get started in show business?
I was a cartoonist all my life. I was a prodigy when I was a child. They used to put me on television when I was 7 years old and 6 years old, and they would read stories, and I would draw them in real time on local television. I had a segment on a TV show called Panorama Pacific.
Panorama Pacific?
That was your favorite show.
I used to love that show.
I wanted to be a syndicated cartoonist like Charles Schultz of Peanuts. Lou Scheimer, who owns Filmation Studios.
I've heard of Filmation.
The worst cartoon studio in the world. He made me a storyboard artist. And that's where I learned how bad it was, because then they made me a writer, and I would listen to the stuff I had written being read by actors that were just sitting in a booth by themselves.
Yeah.
And years later on The Simpsons, one of the things that I thought was going to be essential for the show is that people perform it as if it were a radio play.
That's fantastic. So I just want to backtrack a little bit. So you're working for Filmation.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I've made it now.
At the time, I liked a show called Taxi, and I wrote an episode of that show, and I mailed it in. And they actually bought it and made it into an episode of the show.
Wow. So
and they put me on staff, and I was running the show 1 year later at the age of 25.
So Taxi was a fantastic show.
Yes.
You're hanging out with all those cats.
Right.
It comes to an end.
Right.
What happens? What's your next move?
I did a show for ABC called Shaping Up with Leslie Nielsen. It was like #2 in the country when it was canceled. They just didn't like it. But for me, it was only a minor disaster because I met my wife, Jennifer Tilly, on that show.
Wow.
And one of the shows I was working on was the Tracy Ullman Show. And they had this little segment before the commercials.
Right.
I don't know if you remember this. It was animated.
I remember this.
And it had a little family that America just responded to.
So you were part of the, it was what, you, Matt Groening, and
Jim Brooks.
Jim Brooks
developed the show for television.
So now you're doing The Simpsons. That had to be incredibly exciting.
It was incredible. It was like being in the Beatles.
Is it fair to say, do you feel you've lived the American dream? 2
years ago, I was given 3 months to live. I was diagnosed with cancer. I never thought I was going to die in 3 months. And I was right about that. And I said this was going to be an adventure. And I've been right about that.
You've made a fortune doing what you love to do.
It's like there's things that I've been doing for long periods of my life that I'm interested in, such as animal rights and the welfare of children all over the world and hunger in America. I am not interested in investing in your moisturizer line, which
there goes my next 5 questions. It's fantastic.
People think it's like Shark Tank. And these people are lined up outside my house. So the money is kind of gone.
You gave it all to PETA.
No. I put it in a trust that will be distributed in perpetuity to Save the Children and PETA and other organizations.
Fantastic. Go to theflipsideshow.com for more of the interview with my good friend Sam Simon. And make sure you tweet him your screenplay ideas and your moisturizer recipes. Stick around. We got more Flipside right after this.